Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello, this is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. And I mean that. This podcast is growing. More and more people are listening to this podcast on every episode. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for listening. You don't have to, but you are, and I appreciate it. Today on the podcast, we're going to discuss the work session tonight, 6 p.m., City Hall. Be there, be nowhere. We are also going to put a bow, wrap up a subject that we've been discussing here on Truman's Town Hall, which is the Veterans Memorial location. Now, at the last council meeting, City Council voted to place the Veterans Memorial at Thomas Cloud Park. I have been outspoken on that location. I don't feel that that is a good place for a Veterans Memorial. However, I am very excited that the city of Heber Heights will have a Veterans Memorial. Since 2009, I have wanted to see Heber Heights have a Veterans Memorial. It's 2019. That's 10 years it took. The way I feel. In 2009, I wrote an email to a council member at the time, and maybe currently, about naming a park after a fallen soldier. I got a response I wasn't very in favor of at the time. I let it go. I began to pay attention a little more. I began to start to get involved in city government. And then we started up the Heber Heights Veterans Project to finally go after it. We did a lot of research, a tremendous amount of research on building a memorial in cities across the state and country. I have talked literally to a lot of people. I was going to say how many, but I can't remember how many folks. I'd have to go through old records and things. But I've talked to a lot of people, not only from Ohio who have built memorials in Ohio, but folks who have built parks outside of Ohio. When the city doesn't partner with you, and they essentially refuse to, you have to look at doing things on your own. Well, the mayor decided to create the Military and Veterans Commission. Feelings at the time. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I had mixed feelings at the time because the mayor had promised HHVP all this stuff. A lot of stuff. He literally told me, and I'm using literally like I'm Rob Lowe from Parks and Rec, but he promised me, personally, I remember where I was. I was at the Oppenheimer building on the campus of San Antonio College when he said, Matt, get me a rendering and I will give it to these rich folks, I'll just call them the rich folks for now, who will probably fund the whole project. So I told HHVP, we need to get a rendering. It's possible that we have someone, at the time I trusted him, I believed him. It's possible we have someone who's going to help us fund this project. Let's get this rendering. Let's go spend the $1,200. Get this rendering done. And we needed one anyway to go do more fundraising. We had to have a 501c3. That cost money. We had to have a rendering. That cost money. We were hoping to partner with the city. Now, if you're looking to do a nonprofit in the city of Heber Heights, do not involve yourself into politics. I thought, and this is just my stupid thinking, that I could separate the two. I could, on one hand, we all can work on this one project, the Heber Heights Veterans Project, bringing a memorial to the city of Heber Heights. And on the same token, we can discuss politics like adults. And if we disagree, well, it's just a disagreement. Right? But that's not how it works. people get their feelings into all the politics around here. They can't hear, oh, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. Well, the city, what was it, 73% said medical marijuana in the city of Heber Heights would be okay. And then the mayor said, no, medical marijuana is not okay. I vote no. I ban you. No businesses will split 3% of the profits in this city because there won't be any. But we'll spend $3.7 million to buy a piece of real estate in hopes we are able to develop it. Is it a risk? It certainly is a risk. It may turn out to be a great job well done. I don't know. So many things are on my mind, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I get off track. We're talking about the Veterans Memorial. I 100% support the men and women on the Military and Veterans Commission of Heber Heights. 100% support them. I think they're going to do great things as other veterans join the commission as time goes on. Hopefully it's a lasting commission and they continue to look at veterans issues. And they continue to help the residents, the veterans in the city of Heber Heights. I disagreed on the location. Now, me being upset at Mr. Gore for how he handled it is one issue, like I've just described earlier. We can work together on one thing. Politics is separate. Let's try to keep it. It's hard to do that in this city. It really is. And as long as I've been around this city and as long as I've been paying attention to politics, I was hoping for something else. But I may be upset or discouraged, or I don't trust Mr. Gore, Mayor Gore, on this subject, on any subject really. When someone tells you something and they're going, I'm going to do this and this, and there were other fundraisers thrown around. Mr. Gore came to a meeting once. He volunteered to be the treasurer of HHVP. He said, I'm going to do a motorcycle rally for you guys. Just let me know. And he and Mr. Otto were going to work on that. I was like, sweet. Not only are we not going to bleed politics into this, but this organization is going to get these politicians to work together. I was happy about that. It didn't happen. On the back end, he created another commission. And I'm not mad at them for it. Hell no. It's none of their doing. Am I discouraged of the location because I don't think it's the right location? Sure. Did I speak out on it? Sure. I'll play you some clips if you want. Yeah, let's play some clips. And then we'll discuss it.
7, which is our citizens' comments. Mr. Rogers.
We just have one this evening. Mr. Matthew Truman, 7655 Stonecrest Drive. If you'd please come to the podium.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, thank you. So I wanted to, I saw on the agenda that you're going to be discussing the Veterans Memorial and a location, and I know that's pretty important. I was part of a group called Heber Heights Veterans Project. We were a citizen-driven group, and I think, spurred this idea and helped bring about what you guys have today, which is the great board, the Veterans, the Military and Veterans Commission. So for that, thank you very much. That's I think that's a tremendous thing that the city's doing, and I'm glad the city's recognizing that. So one of the things that I've been paying attention to is the location of the memorial, and from what I've saw is that the talk is Cloud Park. And with all the research that we have done, we've visited countless memorials. We've went Piqua, Middletown, Casstown, Lou helped build. So, I mean, we've many, 30 at least. So the reason that we had chose as our idea the best idea that I thought was Gary Sherman Park. And the reason that is, if you drive back there, there's a lot of green space. Cloud Park seems like it has a lot of green space, but it's a dedicated area for sports and recreation. Not to mention that there's already a bit of a memorial back there for some of the young kids who died in Huber Heights. If you go back there, there's trees. I don't know if you guys know about that or not. So kind of separating that, I think, would be good. The green space back here at Gary Sherman Park, it provides the ability to expand. Taylorsville Road is designated Veterans Memorial Parkway. Police station's back here. I know these points have been brought up. Yesterday, I actually went up to Cloud Park, and I reviewed the video where it talks about why Cloud Park's being chosen. Now, if you go over to the flagpole, and I took pictures and I looked at it. If you go over to where the flagpole's out, there's not enough room. You need about 1/4 of an acre for a memorial. But for our concept was an education piece. Back here, you could do that. You could do the education piece. There's plenty of room for busing. Yesterday, I even saw a police car that was parked in the parking lot. So the security would be good. I even pulled up to the area where the fence opens, where the police officers go on shift, and you can clearly see right down that road. So they would have to look left in order to turn right to come out on shift. So there's just a number of things that we looked at, and I could go on, and I don't want to waste your time. But as our organization and the folks that we've talked throughout the community, anytime we mentioned Cloud Park, they were not as excited about that. And we even looked at Manita Park, we looked at Bell Fountain Park, and we even kind of went with Bell Fountain Park initially, because Bell Fountain Park, there was a citizen who was like, look guys, please don't do it. So then we said, okay, we'll go to different other parks. We talked with city staff here. We talked with the Parks and Rec Board. We did a lot of that, which I don't know if that's been done yet, and I hope that it's considered. I hope that maybe we just pause the location for now and kind of get a little better idea. Regardless of what happens and where you put it, we're going to be excited. We're going to be happy that there's a memorial here in the city of Huber Heights, so I don't want that to take away anything. So that's about what I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. One thing to point out is it's not Bell Fountain Park, it's Bell Plain Park. So I don't know what I was thinking at that point. Because Bell Fountain's close by, I know. But it's on Bell Plain Road. It's called Bell Plain Park. It is what it is. But it bothers me when I make silly mistakes like that. Now, August 5th is right around the time I heard of Thomas Cloud Park being proposed as the location. And I wanted to speak at the council meeting to explain to them, one, we've done a lot of research looking into this park. They all know that. They've been briefed. We briefed, during HHVP, we briefed the Parks and Rec Board. I think I've already went over this. We briefed city council. We talked to city staff. We talked to residents. We talked to neighbors of different parks. We walked each and every park. Like literally, again, Rob Lowe, we got out of the park and we walked the grounds to see, hey, would this be a good spot? Those things were done. There was a lot of research. So the way I see it, the city manager was selling this idea. Miss Burge was selling this idea. The mayor kinda was selling this idea. And towards the end, really selling the idea of Thomas Cloud Park. Is meeting once or twice a month for 2 months doing enough research? I could not wrap my head around that. Whether there was more time spent, there probably was, on researching one park, though, Thomas Cloud, because I know Miss Burge has been lobbying for Thomas Cloud Park. She mentioned that to us and very adamant that it's got to be there. She won. I'm not angry at her at all about that. She liked Thomas Cloud Park, and she went out and got folks to join the board.